So let's dive into the Tel Bank database. Okay. Okay, so we need to query the database first to see what data we need to work with, to see the data we're working with, what it actually looks like. All right, so here you'll find the tables that are in the database. So these are all the tables that are in the database, but due to time, we might not be looking at the individual tables. So I'd like us to query some of the tables. So here, using this query, I want to select some columns from the each some of the tables here. Okay, like C here represents the customer table, which is this table here. I want to pick these columns, the customer ID column, the first name. So I pick all this column from the customer table, which is the table here, and the A represents the address table, which is this table here. So I want to pick all this column from the address table, and also I want to pick the account number column from the sales order header, which is this table down here. This is the sales order header. So I'll pick the account number from this table here. So just to make sense of what the data looks like. I click run and here, voila. This is what I want us to look at right now. So you can see that we have the names of the customers. So let's take table David for an example. As an example, so you see I have the email address of for the email David's email address. I have the phone number. I have the address. I have the state, I have country, I have his postal code, and I have his account number. With this kind of information, someone can actually sell this information on dark web, like, and someone can even use this information to create a fake ID impersonating these customers. Someone can even send targeted phishing emails using the information given. So it's very risky and dangerous to have this kind of sensitive data being breached. So in order to avoid such issues, we are going to apply the data masking, the dynamic data masking, so that Zitel Bank reputation will be intact. Now let's rush down to the security and down to data masking. Okay, so you remember during the presentation, we talked about SQL users that are automatically excluded from viewing masked data. So here is an example of what we are talking about. The administrators are always excluded, and you can add more administrators that you want to exclude here. And these are the recommendations Azure SQL Database made for us for the masking. Now, the issue with masking directly from this place is that it just uses the default function without the option of adjusting, but you can update after masking. So let's give it a try. The email address, we've masked that. We masked the postal code. We masked the line address, mask the second address. We do not need to mask the password because it's hashed already. So it's remaining phone number and account number. Okay, right, let's rush down to first of all, let's adjust our email address and make use of the email function. So here is the email function. We are going to just update and go back to our database. And here this information was null, so let's show ourselves how to delete, and that is that. Okay, so let's try adding the marks from here. So on the, like during the presentation we talked about you understanding knowing your schema. So here it is. If you when you know your schema, you're going to also need to know your table. So where we have the phone number is on customer table, and then we are going to go straight to the column phone number. So here we're going to add a custom string. So let's max the first two, add padding, and then we leave the last tree open, and then we add, and let's just add one more, which is the account number, and says other header. Okay, also the same custom string. So we add to, we put our padding, we should just add one more padding. Okay, so let's save and go and view what's happening over there. So we are going to query the database again to see what we've maxed. Log in again. Okay, so let's query the database again. Ah, what happened? I can still view this data as unmaxed. Okay, so what happened here is that I am the account I'm using to log in here to query this database is the database owner account. So remember what we said about SQL users that are exempted from viewing maxed data. Database owner is part of it. So as a database owner, I cannot view the maxed database. So what are we going to do right now? Let's see. Let's try and create a temporary user. Let's say we call the temporary user service head, and we allow service head to work without the login. Oh, our query successful. Okay, so let's give our new user a read role. Member service head. Okay, so we're giving the new user a read role, so it was successful. And next is we need to execute our command using this user. Service head. Okay, so let's paste our code again. But first, we need to revert back to the database owner role. Okay, so now you can see the maxed data. It's no longer unmaxed. You can see the address and the postal code, the account number. They are all maxed, which is the right thing to do now. The data is actually saved. Now let's drop this user, which is a good practice. This to encourage database security. Gonna leave an unknown user running. Successful. Okay, so that's how you max your database on Azure SQL. So thank you very much.